What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my PrizePicks Breakdown for UFC 296. We have Leon Edwards going against Colby Covington.
I need all the wins, yeah. All that and all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another PrizePicks Breakdown. This week we are breaking down UFC 296 from a PrizePicks perspective, a card that I'm really looking forward to, a card that has taken some hits. We were supposed to have 14 fights on the card. We are now down to 12 fights, but still 12 great fights nonetheless. Before we get into it, if you guys could please do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Let me know down in the comments what you guys like from a PrizePicks perspective. And then also, if you guys are new to PrizePicks and want to check it out, use promo code DFSBTN and get yourself a 100% deposit match up to $100. It helps me, it helps you, it's free money. And also, I don't say this too often, I've never said this actually, but free square. There is a free square on PrizePicks on Christmas Day. All you have to do is get Kevin Durant to score 1 point, which, you know, I don't know much about basketball. What I do know, though, is I think Kevin Durant can go out there and get 1 point. You can combine that with anything. You can combine that with any sport, a UFC, NBA, NFL, you name it. You can combine it with that. It's a free square, so check it out. And, of course, use promo code DFSBTN and get yourself that 100% deposit match up to $100. If you guys have not signed up yet, now's the time. You know, those free squares are no joke. All right, I say we get into it. Then we're going to start with the fight time. So from a fight time perspective, I did have Randy Brown, the fight time. I did like the less there, but another less that I don't mind. And I think this got hit earlier in the week. I think it was like 13 or 14, like something crazy earlier in the week. It has got hit, which rightfully so. Martin Buday, 11.5 fight time. I'm taking the less here. The reason being he's going against Shamil Gaziev, who I just don't think has great cardio. Like, if this fight does go past 11.5 minutes, I mean, what is it going to look like? I mean, Gaziev, I feel like, has about a couple minutes of gas. So the way I'm seeing this is I think it's Gaziev early. I think a Gaziev, first round finish is very much on the table. He has a bunch of them. But if this fight does get dragged out in that second, third round, I feel like Martin Buday is going to have a good opportunity to get Gaziev out of there. So yeah, I don't know if Gaziev has the cardio to go 12 minutes here. Give me the less on the 11.5 fight time. All right, the next one I'm going to go with is they took it off. They took it off. If you see them add Dustin Jacoby fight time back, I like them more, but they took it off. My gosh, so I lost the Randy Brown fight time. I lost the Dustin Jacoby fight time. One more I will throw out there is going to be the Paddy Pimblett fight time, 11 minutes. This is not one I feel amazing about, but what I do feel amazing about is saying that I just don't think Tony Ferguson should be fighting this weekend. I really don't. I've been saying it all week. I don't think this fight should be sanctioned. Tony Ferguson on a 6-fight skid. The last 2 fights, he's just shown absolutely nothing. And yeah, I mean, if this was prime Tony Ferguson, I think he would go out there and probably look minus 1,000. But, the fact of the matter is it's not prime Tony Ferguson anymore. He's taken a ton of damage. He's almost 40 years old at this point. He's been finishing his last 3 losses, including submission losses to Diaz and Green in his last 2 losses. Had another brutal knockout loss to Michael Chandler. So yeah, I just feel like Paddy Pimblett should go out there and finish Tony Ferguson in less than 11 minutes, whether it's by sub, knockout, I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is Tony Ferguson probably should not be going out there this Saturday. And if he loses this fight, that's 7 in a row, which is just hard to watch. But yeah, Paddy Pimblett taking the fight time, less there, 11 minutes. And if, like I said, if you do see them add Jacoby fight time, I do kind of like them more there. All right, move on to the significant strikes, and we are going to start with Bryce Mitchell. Significant strikes, I'm taking the less here, 37.5. Like, if Bryce Mitchell strikes with Josh Emmett for any portion of the fight, I mean, there's a good chance he gets knocked out. Josh Emmett, one of the hardest hitters in the featherweight division, in the history of the division. I mean, Josh Emmett, there was at one point where Josh Emmett had 7 consecutive fights with landing a knockdown. So yeah, I feel like Bryce Mitchell, in a lot of his fights, doesn't want anything to do with the striking, this fight included. So if Bryce Mitchell's winning this fight, what is he doing? He's taking down Josh Emmett, he's controlling him, and probably getting 10, 11, 12, 13 minutes of control time. And if that's not the case, he probably gets knocked out. So I feel like there's a lot of ways for this less to hit on the Bryce Mitchell significant strikes. Give me the less than 37.5. All right, taking another less here, and it is going to be the, gosh, they took it off as well. Well, I mean, this video, like all my plays are getting taken off. If you see Cody Garbrandt, oh, there it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got worried. I got really worried for a second. Cody Garbrandt, it's like I'm blind apparently. So Cody Garbrandt, significant strikes, 36.5. I'm taking the less. I feel like the less has a lot of ways to hit here. For one, Cody Garbrandt is extremely low volume to begin with. For two, he's changed up his style the last few fights. He seems really tentative in there. He's fighting really calculated, really smart, which is good for Cody Garbrandt. You know, you can't trust his chin. You can't go out there and get into wars nowadays. So on top of that, I feel like he can wrestle. I feel like he has been wrestling a lot more, and that's something he could potentially do here against Kelleher. And then another way that's going to hit is if he gets knocked out. So I just feel like there's a lot of avenues for this less to hit. I don't see this being a high volume striking affair because that's just not Cody's style these days. It's really not. And honestly, it really never has been. He's always been super low volume, but now he's like really, really, really low volume. Like in the Trevin Jones fight, his last fight out, only landed like 20-something significant strikes. He just doesn't want to go out there and exchange, and I quite frankly, I don't blame him. So give me the Cody Garbrandt less on significant strikes there, 36.5. All right, we will move on then to the takedowns. And the first one I'm going to go with is going to be Shavkat Rakhmonov, more than 2 takedowns. So I had it written down earlier in the week at 1.5. It has moved 0.5, but I still like this fight to get extended. Like, I don't think he's going to go out there, take down Stephen Thompson, and that's that, right? Like, I feel like it's going to take him a couple takedowns here. It's going to take him about a round and a half to get going, and I'm kind of leaning late finish here for Shavkat Rakhmonov. So I think he gets at least 2 takedowns, but yeah, if the fight kind of goes how I'm thinking, late second round, third round finish, there's a really good chance he does go out there and crush this 2 takedowns. I want to go back and look at the Belal Muhammad fight for Stephen Thompson, and in that Belal Muhammad fight, Belal Muhammad landed 7 takedowns. We saw Gilbert Burns land 3 takedowns, and I feel like Shavkat can go out there and land 3 takedowns. I can see 3 takedowns from Shavkat, and then he gets the finish. So I do like that. I like the more on the takedowns there for Shavkat Rakhmonov. Another one I'm gonna go with, and this all comes down to the fight IQ, but there's no reason he shouldn't get multiple takedowns here, and that's Andre Fili. 1.5 takedowns. I'm taking the more here. Just because, yeah, I mean, if he wants takedowns, he's getting them. He's actually a good wrestler, Andre Fili. He has multiple fights in the UFC under the early on in his career where he's going out there and he's getting quite a few takedowns. And Lucas Almeida has no takedown defense. None. And none at all. And it would be wise for Andre Fili to go out there and wrestle. If he does, he hits this easy. Just all comes down to the fight IQ. And then finally, we'll talk some fantasy score here. And the first one I'm going to go with is going to be Casey O'Neill fantasy score. I know a lot of people like Lipsky this week. I'm not one of those people. I like O'Neill fantasy score more. I feel like this has a lot of ways to hit if she does win. And like I said, I am picking her to win here. On the feet, she throws a ton of volume. She landed over 200 significant strikes against Roxanne Modafferi. She even landed like 140 strikes just about against Jennifer Meyer, her last fight. So yeah, the volume on the feet is 100% there for O'Neill. The power is there for O'Neill. But the clearest path to victory for O'Neill is taking this fight down to the mat, and once we've seen Lipsky off of her back, it's just looked bad. She's been finished 4 times by knockout. I feel like O'Neill's very live for a TKO if she gets that takedown, but if not, I still feel like she can go out there and land just a ton of volume. So I like O'Neill to win the fight, and I like O'Neill more than 88.5 fantasy points. And then finally, I'm going to go with another Paddy Pimblett prop here. I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett more on the fantasy score as well, 100.5. And yeah, I mean, it's the same breakdown, right? Like Tony Ferguson in his prime, it's a different story, but Tony Ferguson is not in his prime or not even close to at this point. He shouldn't be fighting. This fight should not be sanctioned, blah, blah, blah. Paddy Pimblett should go out there and finish Tony Ferguson in probably the first round. I don't think it's going to be remotely competitive whatsoever. I don't know if it's knockout or whether it's submission, but I do think it comes early on. And if it does come early on in that first or second round, like I'm thinking, he crushes this 100.5 fantasy score. So there you guys have it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out PrizePicks, use that promo code DFSBTN, 100% deposit match up to $100, and go use that free square. Take advantage. Nothing in life is free, but this is about as free as it gets. So check that out. Helps me out. Helps you out. Best of luck. UFC 296. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.